Look at you thinking you could live without him, now look at you living. Look at you doing way better and all out of your feelings. Your edges came back and your ass is getting a little bigger. Girl, fuck that little nigga. Girl, fuck that little nigga. Cause you don't deserve that. Girl, you don't deserve that. Girl, you don't deserve that. And you can do better. You don't deserve that. Girl, you don't deserve that. Girl, you don't deserve that. Girl, you can do better. You fell in love with a fuck nigga. Now you
What's up, YouTube? It's your girl Tay, and I'm here with another video. So today I'm gonna be doing a story time about my experience at the hospital. So before I get into the story, but don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And make sure you share this video to everybody. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you DM me your ideas. Yeah, so let's get into the video. First of all, my hands are ashy anyways. So this actually happened recently. So for 2 days, don't mind this in my nose either because I lost my nose piercing. And I gotta put an earring in, so I would get another one. Okay, but anyways, so for 2 days I was like in like some pain or whatever, and like I just kept like pushing off the hospital because I really don't like going to the hospital. So I kept on like nah, I ain't gonna go to the hospital. Like I'm gonna just fight through the pain. First of all, I have a high pain tolerance, so something hurts, it gotta like really hurt for me to go to the hospital. Okay, so like it was hurting out real bad. Like the second or third day, it was hurting real bad, and I'm like, I can't even take it no more. Like I need to go to the emergency room. The night before, I didn't get no sleep because I feel like, okay, so what was wrong with me was my right rib was hurting, and so like I didn't get no sleep, and like when it was hurting, I felt like I couldn't breathe, so I was scared to go to sleep. Like if I go to sleep, if I start breathing, like I'm not waking back up basically. So I was telling my mama like I'm going to the emergency room or whatever, and she called ambulance for me because I couldn't do nothing. Like I was in so much pain. So
You're gonna stop your video because I'm coming in. It ain't never that serious.
Okay, so basically she called the ambulance, she told them whatever, they come, and like he just asked me like what's my name and all that, like they supposed to do, and then he was like, okay, well get your stuff, we're gonna take you to the hospital. So you know, like when you inside the ambulance and they supposed to call like the hospital, basically tell them what's wrong with you, tell them your name, age, all that. He did that, and then he was like, the pain scale from 1 to 10 is like 8. And I was like, he didn't even ask me that. Like he didn't even ask me like how much pain are you in, like do it hurt bad. He didn't ask me none of that. He just asked me like where does it hurt at. And I was on my head, like I was mad because at that point the pain was at like a 10. So I was like 8, like come on now, I need them to hurry up and hurry up and see what's wrong with me. So we got there and stuff. And you know how like when the hospital always asks for like urine or whatever, they asked me and I'm like, well, like I just went to the bathroom before I got here, so like, so they're like, oh, basically they couldn't do nothing until I have to use the bathroom. So I'm like, can I get some water? Can I get some water so I can, you know, have to use it so I can get y'all something so I can do whatever y'all need to do. It's like, oh, we can't give you no water because you gotta get an ultrasound. So I was like, well, we're just gonna have to do the waiting game or whatever. So they finally get me to a room, and I'm still asking for water, and I'm like, can I get water because I need to use the bathroom so y'all can, you know, do the test or whatever. She's like, no, we can't give you water. You still have to do an ultrasound or whatever. So I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. And so she came to get me an IV. Me, I hate needles. I really hate needles. Like, I know that sounds stupid because, like, got 2 nose piercings, I got a tattoo, but, like, I literally hate needles, like, especially if they look, like, too long or whatever. And, she was giving me an IV in my left arm. She couldn't find a vein. She's like, I can't find a vein or whatever. And then when she did find a vein, she's like, oh, I see the vein. It's like, I feel a vein, it's right there or whatever. And she stuck it in. She's like, oh, when I put the needle in, the vein basically moved or whatever. So she was like, she called like backup basically. I guess that's what she'll call it. She called backup or whatever. And she's on my right arm. So as she's on my left arm looking for a vein, the other lady on my right arm looking for a vein. And I'm just sitting here like, I got 2 needles in my arm right now. And y'all still can't find a vein. So she's like, oh, you're a tough girl. You got 2 needles in your arm right now, whatever the case may be. So I'm like, I was asking her questions like how long do you think it's gonna take you to find a vein? Like, what do you need to find a vein in this certain spot for? Because at this point they only trying like the crease of my arm. I don't even know what that's called. That's bad. But yeah, they trying to find the crease of my arm. Like, oh, we gotta hook this up, hook that up, or whatever. So I'm like, dang, am I dying or what? Like, they doing all of this just, in one spot. Well, both of my arms. So she was like, oh, basically, I can't find no vein. Can you sit here with a needle in your arm while I go get the ultrasound thing, whatever. So I can try to find a vein through, the ultrasound thing. I'm like, you want me to sit here? She's like, you have to. You'll be fine. Do you think you can do it? I'm like, okay, cool. Go ahead. Mind you, while she going to do that, I still got to sit here with this lady that's on my right arm that's trying to find a vein, trying not to move my left arm. So I'm like, I can't move neither one of my arms, and you still didn't find a vein. So she got the thing or whatever, and she's still looking. She's like, oh, I see a vein right here or whatever. Searching with the needle in my arm. Like, she got the needle in my arm, and she's like searching with the needle and the freaking ultrasound thing or whatever. So I'm like ouch. She's like, oh, does that hurt? Does that hurt? I'm like, yeah. She's like, I'm sorry. Like she said, I'm sorry, and I'm like, what is that going to do? Like, are you going to stop? Like, can you try somewhere else? And I kept asking that, like, can you try to find, like, a vein, like, in my wrist or, like, my hand? That's usually where they find it at or whatever. Because, yes, I do have it's usually a hard time to find a vein when I do go to the hospital or whenever, I need to draw blood or whatever the case may be. It's usually a hard time because, I don't know, it's hard to find my veins, I guess, or whatever. So y'all, they trying to draw blood, and I hadn't ate that whole day because I was in pain or whatever. Starting to hurt a little bit. Okay, but she we have to get it right here. We have to get it right here or whatever. And I'm like, oh my gosh, right? So she's like, okay, I can't find it, so I'm gonna get a doctor or whatever. So at this point, I already got poked in my left arm and my right arm, and they didn't find no veins at all. So I'm like, so you telling me, like, I gotta get poked again? So, she basically was like, I'm not gonna poke you no more. I'm gonna get a doctor, okay? So, okay, get a doctor. I'm ready. She was like, she came back and she was like, oh, I'm gonna try your hand or your wrist or whatever. And I'm like, okay, we can clearly see the vein in my wrist, okay? I'm like, you can't see it right now. Ooh, and it look bad. But I'm like, we can clearly see the vein in my wrist. Can you, like, see if you can use it there or whatever? And, hold on, I'm sorry. And I'm like, you can clearly see it in my wrist. Can we, like, try my wrist or whatever? Like, hopefully that'd be better. So at this point, she's like, oh, yeah, that's a good vein. We got the vein. Starts pulling blood. I'm like, okay, like, how many tubes of blood do you need? It's like, oh, we just need 3 tubes, all right? So, like, so y'all gonna be able to y'all gonna be able to connect the other thing through this IV. She's like, oh, no, I'm trying to see that right now or whatever. I'm like, what? So you just, so she was like, no, we can't get it through here. Then she's like, your vein burst or something like that. Your vein just bursted, and I'm trying to get around it. So she's still playing inside my wrist with a needle while my vein is busted. So I'm like, at this point, I'm being poked 3 times. You still can't give me my medicine through my wrist. That's what it was. You still can't give me my medicine through my wrist or whatever. And my vein just burst. So, like, what's going on? She's like, oh, okay. I'm done. I'm not going to poke you anymore. I'm going to go get a doctor. So this time, she actually come back with a doctor. And he was like, I'm going to find a vein and I'm only going to poke you 1 time. And that's it, okay? So I'm like, okay, cool. Finally, somebody is gonna find a vein, give me my medicine through my through the IV, and we're gonna be done. That's what I thought. So once he told me that, and I'm like, okay, cool. And then he used the ultrasound thing to freaking find a vein. But what got me about him is once he was doing that, he was in the same spot that the other lady left off on my right arm. And I'm like he literally just pulled the tape or gauze and tape off my arm and was like, I'm gonna do it right here. So I'm like, first of all, y'all stick me in the same spot twice. And I already got like these 2 marks on my arm or whatever. And he was like, it's okay. I found a vein. I feel it right here or whatever. I see it through the thing, right? So I'm looking at the ultrasound thing like I know what I'm looking at, and I really don't. They seeing like, do you see a vein or whatever? I'm sorry. So finally, he's like, okay, I'm finna basically put the IV in. So he put the IV in. He like, I found a vein. This is perfect. So he don't need no blood because they already took the blood out. But he needs to connect the IV or whatever. So he basically just put the needle in. Then the nurse came back and she started hooking the IV and stuff up. So she hooked it up. And mind you, they had the medicine bag thing, like the medicine go through. They had it on the left side, but my arm was on the right side. So I had to reach over like this, with as I'm laying down in the bed in pain. Didn't have to put my arm like that. So I'm reaching over and I'm just chilling on my phone, just letting the medicine, letting it do its job. I can't really do nothing else until this is done. Just a full bag of medicine. What is it? Saline or something like that. It's a whole bag of that gotta go inside my arm. So I'm chilling or whatever. And I'm just talking to my cousins and stuff on the phone. And they basically just checking on me because I try not to go to the hospital, but they was just checking on me or whatever. And I'm sitting there and it's hurting. I'm like, this don't feel right. This feel weird or whatever. And my godmama, I think her dad is a doctor, so she knows a lot of stuff like that, so she's like, I call her because once it started feeling weird, I looked at it, I'm like, my arm's swole, is this supposed to be like this? So I call her, I'm like, I call TT. I'm like, TT, is this how it's supposed to be? She's like, no, that's not how that's supposed to be. Calling back in there or whatever. So I'm calling them, I'm literally screaming for a nurse. The area that I was in is literally a desk right here, a desk right here, and a desk right here. They were right there, right next to each other, barely any space. And I'm seeing them walk past. I'm like, excuse me, manager, I cannot get up because I have to, they have the arm things up, the armrest up on the bed. So I can't do that because if I move my left hand, it's going to hurt. I can't move my right hand because, I'm reaching over to get the medicine. So I'm like, oh my gosh, anybody, nurse, hello, definitely screaming. They walking past my room. I'm hello, excuse me. Then somebody finally, and then she was like, I was like, excuse me, this is not supposed to be like this. She's like, oh no, and she started calling like the lady or whatever, and I'm starting to look concerned because I'm like, excuse me, like, am I okay? I'm like, I was like, is it fine? Like, am I okay? She's like, oh, it's nothing to worry about. Basically, I forgot the word. It's like inversion or inverged or. It's me editing the video. It's called intravenous. I think if I remember right. And she's like, basically, what that means is, instead of going into the vein, the saline started to go inside of your arm. Okay, so she's like, since it's regular saline, it's just gonna absorb in your arm. So like, okay, but I was like, I'm like, the fact that I have to go through all this just for y'all to say I found a vein, and still didn't end up finding a vein, and I got poked 4 times. I'm just ready to go. So, let's go back a little bit before that happened. I had to go to take an ultrasound, and basically they was like that I needed to go back and take another ultrasound because they couldn't really, I guess they couldn't really see. So while I'm in the ultrasound, he's like, I gotta press a little bit. I'm like, okay, cool. He know I'm in pain right here, so a little bit. He just warning me that it's gonna hurt a little bit, but he pressing. Like, when I tell you, I feel like he was trying to like push that thing through my skin. I was like, excuse me, like that hurts. Like, excuse me. And he was like, I just have to press down a little bit. I was like, but that hurts. Like, can you like, you know? And he just kept doing it. So I was just like, at this point, I'm just not gonna say nothing else because he's not gonna fix it. So, so fast forward back to this. So at the end of the day, once they took that thing off the IV on my arm, and I was freaking out, she was like, basically, don't freak out, and ain't nothing to worry about. And I was confused as to why you was yelling to your coworker if it wasn't for me, nothing for me to worry about. Like, you had me scared or whatever. So so it's the end now. It's the end. And she was like, oh, we still, like, y'all just did all of this. Y'all already basically told me that I can go home after the ultrasound, and y'all still, sorry, urine sample. So I was like, oh yeah, like I already, because when I went down to the ultrasound, I already did the urine sample, but I forgot to give it to them, and they wasn't even asking. Like, it wasn't nobody coming in my room or nothing. Like, it's like they forget that I was there. Like, I was like, okay, like, I was like, okay, like, whatever. So yeah, so it's time for me to go. I left, and yeah. But the point of me telling y'all this story is, like, I was so freaking scared because nothing like that ever happened to me. Like, all the time, people have, like, they usually have a hard time finding the vein. That is true. But, like, it only, like, take 1 or 2 times. It took 4 times for them to find a vein, and they still didn't find a vein. And then my arm ended up getting blown up with saline. I'm gonna, like, try to put a picture right there. If I don't, I'm gonna put it at the end. But, y'all, I was like, dang. But yeah, that's the end of this story. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. And make sure y'all tell me what else videos y'all want to see from me. Pranks, vlogs, challenges, anything, hacks, like the TikTok hacks and all that. Just let me know anything y'all want me to do. And I'm going to do it. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Follow all my socials. That's gonna be in the description. Please share this with a friend. Please like, and yeah, this is